Sudanese Sufi Figures, الشيخ فرح ودتكتوك. The audience, I'm delighted to welcome you once again on a new journey through the rich and vibrant pages of Sudanese history, where we revisit the lives of remarkable figures and reformers who helped shape the moral, intellectual, and cultural heritage of Sudanese society. Today, we renew our encounter with Sheikh Farah ودتكتوك, the renowned Sudanese sage whose teachings emphasize diligence, productive work, moral uprightness, and the pursuit of social and human development. In this episode, however, we turn our attention to another Sudanese figure who lived during Sheikh Farah's era, but represented a striking contrast to his outlook on life. This is the figure of أبزهانة, whose name became associated in Sudanese popular memory with a number of sayings and attitudes that often viewed as discouraging initiative and promoting passivity. Who was this man? What circumstances shaped his character and reputation, and how did Sheikh Farah respond to the ideas and perspectives attributed to him? Stay with us. So the audience, as you listen, our encounter with Sheikh Farah continues today. And here, as I told, in our presence, Abzahana, a Sudanese figure, lived during Sheikh Farah, and he stood on the opposite side of the Sheikh. For this, I would like to inform further that Abzahana was a contemporary of Sheikh Farah ودتكتوك. And Sheikh Farah, fearing that the younger generation of his time might be influenced by Abzahana's ideas and sayings. For this, Sheikh responded by circulating counter maxims that promoted responsibility and diligence. Among these, as we are going to take in more detail, among these examples that Sheikh Farah used to stand against Abzahana's views was his well-known saying, "He who settles his debts sleep with a peaceful eye. من حل دينه نامت عينه." So the audience, I would like to start the speech on Abzahana in more details based on the writing and the biography that has been written by Muhammad Tayyib, the noted Sudanese researcher and historian, in his book الشيخ فرح ودتكتوك حلال المشبوك. So the distinguished historian and researcher Muhammad Tayyib writes in his book حلال المشبوك that Abzahana was a figure who lived during the era of French Sultanate of Sinnar and gained widespread fame through the many sayings attributed to him. These sayings often encourage idleness, passivity, and a disregard for productive work. His influence on the surrounding community became significant enough to produce a generation of followers who, by imitating his example, contributed to slowing the pace of social and economic life. Sheikh Farah and recognize the danger that such ideas pose to society, particularly since he lived during the later years of Abzehana's life and witnessed the impact of his reputation firsthand. This concern was entirely consistent with Sheikh Farah's broader reformist outlook. He was known for his criticism of idle and unproductive religious figures, and did not hesitate to admonish rulers whom he regarded as unjust or morally deficient. In the same spirit, he challenged the sayings attributed to Abzehana, refuted their underlying assumptions, and replaced them with wisdom that encouraged seriousness, responsibility, and purposeful living. The contrast between the two men, Sheikh Farah and Abzehana, was not accidental. According to traditional accounts, Abzehana's upbringing and personal circumstances shaped a character very different from that of Sheikh Farah. Whereas Sheikh Farah received substantial religious instruction and acquired considerable knowledge, Abzehana's educational opportunities were limited from an early age. Oral traditions maintain that his original name was Al-Munsadih Hamad Al-Munsadih. His father, Hamad Abzehana, was counted among the wealthy men of the region and possessed large herds of livestock, including camels, cattle, sheep, and goats. Hamad acquired the nickname Abzehana after his eldest daughter, Zahana, and the title eventually passed to his son through inheritance and popular usage. Thus, Al-Munsadih ibn Hamad al-Munsadih became known to the public as Abzehana. Abzehana spent much of his childhood in the care of his maternal grandmother, whose influence left a lasting impression on his personality and later conduct. She loved him deeply and was determined to spare him the hardships endured by other children. Rather than sending him to the village Quranic school, Khalwa, with his peers, she arranged for a teacher to come to her home. He learned only the basic letters of the Arabic alphabet, the opening chapter of the Quran, and the two productive chapters or surahs, Al-Mu'awwidhatayn, after which he lost interest in study and abandoned his education. His father subsequently assigned him to shepherd sheep, but he soon abandoned the task. He was then entrusted with cattle, which he likewise neglected. Later, he joined his grandfather as an ghib, a boy assistant to a camel herder, but left that occupation as well without any apparent reason. Returning to his grandmother, he helped cultivate riverside farms, remained under her care. While still in his adolescence, he was married and became the father of 2 children before reaching the age of 20. Soon thereafter, a dramatic change transformed his fortunes. His grandmother died, leaving him a share of her estate. Only a year later, his father also passed away, and the entire family wealth came into his possession. Overnight, he became one of the most prosperous men in the region. His reputation spread throughout both village and desert communities, and he came to enjoy considerable prestige among his kin and contemporaries. Yet, prosperity brought with it unexpected consequences. Tradition humorously describes him as having been afflicted with the disease of marriage. He married repeatedly and divorced repeatedly, moving from one marriage to another throughout his life. From these unions, he fathered a large number of sons and daughters, so many, according to popular accounts, that he often struggled to recognize some of them. It was said that women would occasionally approach him with children whom he could identify only after considerable effort. أبزهانة possessed many qualities that made him attractive and influential. He came from a respected lineage, enjoyed immense wealth, and was known for his handsome appearance, cheerful disposition, quick wit, and engaging personality. Nevertheless, he also exhibited notable shortcomings. Physically, he was reputed to be excessively corpulent. More significantly, he possessed a tendency to believe whatever he was told without critical examination, whether a statement was true or false. He accepted it readily. This weakness became one of the principal reasons for his fame. If someone told him that he surpassed the Sultan of Sinnar in greatness, he believed it. If he was informed that he possessed more knowledge than the celebrated scholar Tajuddin, and by the way, Tajuddin here referring to Sheikh Tajuddin al-Buhari, the deputy and the Caliph of Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jailani, who came to Sudan during French Sultanate to initiate Sudanese into Qadiriya Sufi order. So he considered the most knowledgeable individual during that time. He accepted the claim without question. If people compared his wealth favorably, even to that of Quran, he readily assumed, or if they compare him to Qarun, who lived during the time of the Prophet Moses, Qarun, he readily assented. Another of his notable characteristics was his love of boasting and self-glorification, traits that persisted even after his fortunes had declined. In time, the Sultanate of Sinnar was struck by successive disasters, including famines, epidemics, and wars. These calamities forced many inhabitants to migrate in search of safety and sustenance. The descendants of Abzehana dispersed throughout different regions of Sudan, intermarrying with diverse communities and gradually becoming integrated into the broader fabric of Sudanese society. During the approximately 80 years that Abzehana lived, he left behind a large body of saying that many regarded as discouraging ambition, weakening determination, and undermining the spirit of initiative and hard work. Some members of society accepted these sayings as wisdom and lived according to them. Others merely repeated and circulated them without putting them into practice, while still others embellished them with humorous additions and satirical interpretations over time. Many people came to regard these sayings as unquestionable truths simply because they had been inherited from earlier generations. Such an assumption, however, is problematic. Not everything transmitted to us from our ancestors is beneficial, nor is everything harmful. What observed or what deserves preservation are those moral virtues and cultural values that remain compatible with the demands of life and the spirit of the age, while ideas that hinder human progress should be critically examined and, where necessary, abandoned. To better understand the mindset that shaped Abzehana's worldview, a worldview reinforced by his social standing and his eloquent speech, it is useful to imagine how he was set to spend an ordinary day. So the audience here, just I would like to share a day in the life of Abzehana based on my quotations from طيب محمد طيب, الشيخ فرح ودتكتوك, حلال المشبوك book. To quote الطيب, according to popular accounts, Abzehana would begin his day by performing the dawn prayer late, after which he would sit drinking coffee until he consumed 7 cups. He would then move his morning gathering from the courtyard of his house to a shaded resting place and settle into what became known as forenoon sleep, نوم الضحى, which he believed prolonged life. So this is one of his harmful saying. He is saying نوم الضحى بطول العمر. This belief itself became a proverb. Sleeping in the forenoon lengthens one's lifespan. نوم الضحى بطول العمر. He was not awakened until the sun had begun to decline. By then, his riding animal would be prepared and he would ride to the home of another wife living elsewhere in the village. Upon arrival, he would dismount and enter the shelter where a light woven bed, had already been prepared for his afternoon rest. After his nap, his wife would prepare the day's second coffee service, and once again he would drink until the 7th cup. He would then eat his midday meal and retire for another rest, while repeating one of his favorite sayings, من تغدى تمدى. Whoever has eaten should stretch out and recline. Another version attributed to his name, to him. states, stretch out and rest, even if war is raging. Even if war is raging. When the sun turned yellow in the late afternoon, he would wander among the neighboring houses discussing tribal matters and local gossip. Who had given birth? Who was pregnant? Who had been divorced? And who had become engaged? As evening approached, he would slowly make his way to the gathering place of the village elders near the Quranic school. There, he would greet everyone individually and inquire about every conceivable matter, whether it concerned him or not. Neither the inconvenience caused to the person questioned nor the burden placed upon the one expected to answer seemed to trouble him. One famous conversation is said to have taken place between him and a man known as Albu. So just I would like to share his conversation with Albu, the gathering of the elders at the very late afternoon. Albu, أرضك من الذي يزرعها؟ أبزهانة، أزرعها أنا وأولادي. أزرعها أنا أو أولادي. ألبو، أرضك عرض للجفاف. أبزهانة يطلق حكمة من حكمه، من سكاها ما لحقه. وينتزع زمام الحديث من ألبو. أسمع يا أخي، الدنيا من خلقوها؟ الناس تزرع وتخدم، ماذا فعلوا؟ ما سمعت بالمثل اللي يجري جري الوحوش الرزق مبحوش؟ Albu asked, who cultivates your land? Abzahana replied, either I cultivate it or my sons do. Albu then remarked, your land is vulnerable to drought. In response, Abzahana offered one of his characteristic maxims. Who runs, be referring here to the life, who runs after it will never catch it. He then seized control of the conversation and declared, listen, my brother, since the world was created, people have planted crops and labored endlessly. What have they really gained? Have you not heard the saying, he who runs like the wild beasts obtains no more than his destined profession. اللي يجري جري الوحوش رزقه ما بيحوش. As for me, cousin, I place, so the speech is still for Abzahana addressing Albu. As for me, cousin, I place my trust in God. The living receive the profession appointed for them. Even the worm survives between two stones. God does not create a mouse without providing sustenance for it. أنا ابن العم تعبان على من؟ الحي رزقه حي. وربنا عاش الدودة بين حجرين، وربنا ما شجعنا كم ضيعوا. I believe in destiny and have no desire to exhaust my limbs through labor. Then the Abzahana turning to the farmers, he would continue. You people have been cultivating the land since ancient times. Tell me, what was it achieved for you? You have farmed ever since the sea was formed. What have you gained from it? After the gathering dispersed, he would proceed to the home of yet another wife. There he would ignore another popular proverb which he advised. من تعشى تمشى. After supper, take a walk. So instead, he would retire directly to sleep, remaining in bed until awakened by the heat of the morning sun, the bleating of sheep, and the lowing of cattle. At such moments, he would complain about the animals disturbing his rest and utter yet another maxim. Sleep is the springtime of the eyes. النوم خريف العين. As his wealth gradually declined, أبزهانة increasingly relied on borrowing. He distributed livestock and money freely to those who praised him or promised marriage alliances. Among the sayings and pieces of advice attributed to him are the following: borrow and make your reputation known. اتدين وتبين. More saying attributed to him: death rests upon the shoulders, but noble lineage remains. الدين فوق الكتوف والأصل المعروف. Eat what pleases you. Wear what pleases others. وكل عجبك والبس عجب الناس. He who settles his debt sleeps with a peaceful eye. من حل دينه نامت عينه. So من حل دينه نامت عينه. By the way, this is a remedy. Thus Sheikh Farah has come to cure the false disease, the false assumptions, the false thoughts and saying that Abzahana has distributed among his society. So Abzahana, at the end of his life, he went into bankruptcy and started to borrow from people. Even he came to spread and disseminate proverbs that encourage borrowing from people and at the same time discourage them to haste in settle such loans. And in this, Sheikh Farah, other social reformer, stand against this notion, and he came with his solution, since he has been called Halal al-Mashbook, the resolver of the difficulties and complexities. He stand against Abzahana's view on borrowing. من حل دينه نامت عينه. This saying, maxims, is attributed to Sheikh Farah. من حل دينه نامت عينه. And with Abzahana more bad ideas, discouraging thoughts and proverb. كان كثرة الهموم أرقد نوم. كان كثرة الهموم أرقد نوم. When worries increase, go to sleep. To him further, رزق الليل ضيف. What comes at night is only a passing guest. الصبر ضل النبي. Patience is the prophet's shade. So such discouraging maxims, and as if they tend to be proverbs and saying among that society and to the present day. By the way, Sheikh Farah stood against these discouraging saying, as I told, and he comes with solution to these sayings and proverbs. Stories and anecdotes about أبزهانة still the speech to Tayyip Muhammad Tayyip. It spread throughout Sudanese society until he became something of a legendary folk character, comparable to Jiha or Ash'ab. Over time, the historical figure became increasingly obscured by folklore. Later years, some people even came to regard him as one of the pious saints who subsequent generations reshaped his image according to their own tastes and imaginations. Thus, new sayings were attached to his name, including the humorous expression, he eats in the hotel and sleeps in the mosque. يأكل في اللوكوندا وينام في المسجد. Sheikh Farah ودتكتوك carefully observed the spread of these sayings and challenged them both intellectually and practically. Whenever he heard such proverbs, he responded with counter maxims that encourage effort, responsibility, and productive action. Among Sheikh Farah's saying as counter maxims to أبزهانة, الاستراح راح، الشيقة لقى، من كد وجد. So as you listen to these maxims, these counter maxims uttered and pronounced, articulated by Sheikh Farah, by the way, stand against that discouraging notions that Abzehana has disseminated among his society. So, fortunately, Sheikh Farah lived during that time, and by this, he came with counter maxim, as I told, الاستراح راح, as if it stand against his idea, من تغدى تمدى, من تعشى تمشى. And he's calling, the calling of ودتكتوك to people to subject to comfort, to resort to comfort, is here in the counter maxim of Sheikh Farah. الاستراح راح, الاستراح راح, الشقى لقى, من كد وجد. Excessive idleness leads to loss and failure. Hard work brings results and reward. Whoever exerts effort attains success. Many of these things were either his own compositions or adaptations of earlier wisdom traditions. And more maxims from Sheikh Farah. One proverb particularly widespread during his lifetime declared, الساعة ولا الزراعة. This is also one of the discouraging maxim during Sheikh Farah time. الساعة ولا الزراعة. The hour of judgment is preferable to farming. The implication to this saying was that agricultural labor was so burdensome that people would rather face the end of the world than cultivate the land. So this is just invitation to idleness, to shun away with works, laziness. When Sheikh Farah inquired about the origin of the proverb, he was told that it came from camel herders. So people not only they rely on what Abzehana has said, furthermore people also used to circulate it, maxims and proverbs. Furthermore, these maxims and proverbs discourage work. And I share this quotation or this maxim. When Sheikh Farah heard this, he had been told that this saying attributed to the camel herders. So Sheikh Farah responded with these lines: الجمالة الدنيا عدوها جوالة والآخرة فاتوها بحالة. The camel herders spent this world wandering with their camels, and they shall reach the next world empty-handed. To sum up the audience, if you have taken parts of ودتكتوك's maxims or proverbs or saying, for instance, كان كترت عليك الهموم أرقد نوم, when worries will increase, go to sleep, could discourage initiative, hard work, and problem solving when interpreted literally. Likewise, الساعة والزراعة, the hour of judgment is preferable to farming, may foster negative attitudes toward productive labor. As a result, these sayings may have reinforced social passivity, reduce ambition, and encourage acceptance of difficult circumstances rather than efforts to change them. However, they also offer psychological comfort and reflected the religious and social realities of their time. So the audience, just I have shared parts of the story of أبزهانة with Sheikh ودتكتوك, and to the present day his impact, أبزهان's impact, saying impact on society is still living among Sudanese. By this, the audience, I came to the end of the episode. Till seeing you in another episode. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.